so it is 5 o'clock in the morning. We don't usually do these things. And we're here in Subaru Manila Bay because we have the all-new Subaru Forester right beside us. And this isn't just any Forester. This is actually the e-Boxer model, the first electrified model in the country. Now, the reason why they're early is we're going to be driving over 1,200 kilometers in the span of the next 3 days. And hopefully we're going to be able to do that in one tank. Now, given the reputation of the Forester in the past couple of years, that is a pretty tall order for this car. But let's see what this car can do. Coming from Subaru Manila Bay, we've covered about 10 kilometers and it's mostly just smooth roads, smooth pavement, but a couple of road imperfections here and there. But I have to say that Subaru always nails the ride pretty well. It's soft in a way that it's not wallowy, but at the same time there's enough firmness that, the body control is well kept. Now that means the car doesn't feel unsettled. In fact, it feels very settled. And I know this is just very early on in the trip. We have over 1,000 kilometers left to go. But I think this is going to be a very, very relaxing drive throughout this whole trip. And while we're on the subject, in light traffic, we are doing close to 19 kilometers per liter at the moment. All right, so fuel economy update number 2. We're in Shell Balagtas right now, covered about 45-ish kilometers. And according to the trip meter, we have done 20 kilometers per liter so far. And the range has actually gone up to 700, 710 kilometers. So it's looking promising so far. And at the rate we're going, I think we can probably do this trip on one tank for as long as traffic conditions are permitting. Alright, given that we still have a lot of time on the road, perhaps it's time for a little bit of a history lesson about the Subaru Forester Hybrid. Now, this product is actually 6 years in the making, at least for the Philippine market, because back in 2019, Subaru flew us out to Singapore to try out the previous generation Forester Hybrid. I was already called e-Boxer at the time. We were told that it would arrive in the Philippines by the third quarter of the same year. So of course, we were all anticipating it, stuff like that. And then it just never came. I guess plans for it were just shelved. Of course, at the time, there were no incentives for hybrid models in the country. You can't get a discount off of them, and you had to pay the full tax, etc., etc. So perhaps the reason why it was quietly shelved was, it was just going to be too expensive. Fast forward 6 years later, and literally all of the competitors of the Forester have hybrid versions. You have the CR-V hybrid, the RAV4 hybrid, the Tucson hybrid as well. So now Subaru finds itself in the back foot. So this car has to be very impressive just to stand out from the crowd. And so far, well, there's one feature that most of its competitors don't have. And that's all-wheel drive, because you can't order a 4x2 Forester. So far, it was all expressways, but we were soaking in the great views out from the side windows. A riot showed itself, and it even had a nice cloudy skirt underneath it. And the roads, well, they were all smooth flowing. And as the kilometers piled on, well, we were falling more and more in love with this car. Right now, the odometer has logged 235 kilometers so far from the moment we left Subaru Manila Bay. And I have to say, it's been a pretty good companion, this Subaru Forester Hybrid. So far, the chassis tuning in this car is proving to be very, very capable. It's soft in a way that, it's comfortable, but it's also firm enough that it doesn't jar anyone inside the car. If anything, I don't feel tired, and it doesn't really feel like I've driven over 200 kilometers. really, I'm enjoying my time so far with this all-new Forester. And truth be told, I was initially skeptical about this car. I mean, in the photos, it didn't really look too exciting. If anything, it looked blander than the soon-to-be outgoing model. But having seen it in the metal now, it's now, it's a welcome relief from all the loud designs we've been seeing from a lot of manufacturers lately. You got these nice set of headlights, and you also have a decently sized grille. It's not too loud, it's not too shouty, and even a couple of design elements are subtle. Then again, you have to remember that Subaru has always been known for being more on the quote-unquote conservative side, but at the same time, they also dance to the beat of their own drum. Okay, so for this fuel economy report, obviously the car is not beside us, but we wanted to show you the view over there. But according to the trip computer, we did 6.1 liters per 100 kilometers. That's about 17 kilometers per liter. And we have a range of 600 kilometers to go. And so far we traveled close to 300 kilometers. So if we're gonna compute that on a whole, it's about 900 kilometers. Now, still a good figure, but we're aiming for that magic 1,000 kilometer figure. We think it's possible, although we still have a couple of uphill routes to go through. But hopefully the next day there's going to be more downhill routes, and we could probably break that 1,200 kilometer mark. Fingers crossed. Okay, a quick pit stop right at the arch. Entering Ilocos. So obviously we turned around because the cars are pointed this way, but we're gonna go back up that way. So right now the economy meter reads 6.7 liters per 100. Of course, if you've noticed that the consumption is going slightly higher, but again, we don't have highways anymore and there's a lot of uphill routes, but still very impressive result and a very good showing so far. There's less than 600 kilometers of range left in the Forester. Now, we will admit that we idled for quite some time, took several stops along the way. Think of it this way, it's a more realistic approach to getting the real world result here. If this were the hybrid, we'd probably be doing way, way less than 6.7 liters per 100. So far, so good. That, ladies and gentlemen, West Philippine Sea. Makes you pretty proud to say it, no? We're driving on this pretty sweet ribbon of pavement right now. Really just soaking in all the views, all the sights, all the sounds. This is just day one, so we're looking forward to what else we're going to be doing the next day. So after more than 12 hours on the road, 13 and a bit hours to be exact, we are finally here in our day one destination, and the result is 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers after 494 kilometers. Range is, about 360 kilometers to go. That's the adventure for day one. Day two is going to bring a lot more, and we'll see you tomorrow. So welcome everyone to day two. We've left the hotel, and in case you haven't seen the background, aside from the Foresters, we're here at the Bungi Windmills. Okay, quick fuel economy update. It's 7 liters per 100. Yes, it went down again, but even if you don't make the one tank thing, we honestly don't mind at this point, because the Forester has been a great companion on the road, and it's been proving hugely efficient considering everything we've done with it. Totally worth it, because just take a look at the views here, and not just here in Bungi. I mean, even on the way up here, you're greeted by the West Philippine Sea. You have this nice breeze, you have this clean air and everything, and it just makes you appreciate just driving around in the country, driving here up north or driving out down south, doesn't matter. Just driving in this country has its nicer side to it. This trip was made more comfortable thanks mainly to the Forester, And yeah, it's been great so far. And it's not even lunchtime yet. And there's more sights and sounds to see and to hear. After I let Charles enjoy behind the wheel of the all-new Forester Hybrid, it's now my turn to take it around a couple of twisties. And I can finally confirm that the Forester does indeed have a great balance between comfort and dynamics. It's perhaps helped by all-wheel drive, but the chassis itself is great. I mean, not to sound cliche when it comes to describing Subaru, it's like, oh, derived from World Rally Championship experience, etc. But you kind of do feel the DNA here. We've driven WRXs, we've driven STIs, and of course there's varying degrees of how stiff it feels. Now this one, when you consider a Forester, it's you don't buy one as I'm gonna take this for canyon carving, but rather it's gonna be your daily. But if you do fancy the mood for going around corners like we are now, it does it very, very well. Yes, there is body roll. Yes, the steering could do with a little bit more feel, although it is a lot better compared to the previous generation. It's something that I haven't said about the Forester in quite some time, which is engaging. And it might not have a turbo anymore, but it's still, there's still a degree of fun to be had there. Well, while we're on the subject of powertrains, okay, so this is a 2.5-liter boxer engine, and it actually has tech from Toyota when it comes to its hybrid system. And that collab has produced a wonderful result. When it's regenerating, it's not too buzzy, it's actually fairly quiet. It's responsive at lower revs. Granted, it does drone a bit, which is typical for any hybrid if I'm being honest. But this one here, it's not too bad. It's punchy in the low end. Again, it's no Forester turbo, but definitely a huge improvement from before. And this trip also made me realize a couple of things. There's a lot of the country that even I personally still have to explore. It's actually my first time driving here around Pagudpod. The last time I went to Ilocos was many, many, many years ago. And I don't really recall a lot of things about that trip, mainly because I was still a kid. But now, with a greater appreciation of what's around us, we've seen not just the windmills really, but the sights, the sounds, the views, even the smells, and even the wind around here. It just feels so good. It makes you realize that a lot of people are stuck in the city, and really they just go out there for a drive. And the second part of this realization is the car makes or breaks the road trip. Bring a car you want to drive around. And granted, we didn't really choose the Forester for this trip, but it's a great companion, and a great companion so far. I mean, I'm already saying a lot in the second day, but so far this trip has been absolutely fantastic, if I'm being honest. And the car just complements everything. Oh, and fuel efficiency. Yeah, 7.2 liters per 100 right now. It's actually pretty dark now, and we're still a fair bit away from Baguio, because if you take a look at the screen here, we have 4.5 hours to go, 200 kilometers to cover. So we're tired, but in a different way. The car's been comfortable, no complaints whatsoever. But just seeing that ETA is already making me feel tired, but I know that the car won't let us down. And the consumption, it's been pretty steady. Actually, from the moment we left Bangge, I reset the meter, and it's 6.1 liters per 100, so not so bad. But overall, our trip average has been, hold on, 7.1 liters per 100, so pretty good car. 8 hours on the road later, with 4 with Charles behind the wheel and another 4 with me, we are finally at the Forest Lodge, with our Forester looking very dirty and very heroic. Now, took a bunch of twisties on the way here, and I can really confirm that the Forester, very excellent handler, and the pavement was wet, it was slick, it also had a bit of mud on it too, but you know what? This is where all-wheel drive comes in, and I really appreciate the fact that the Forester comes standard with it, regardless of whatever you choose. And safe to say that we're enjoying our time here with the Forester. And as one more update, this has done 6.9 liters per 100 in the span of the 8 hours we've had this car running. So we're gonna see you tomorrow and for our last day, and it's all gonna be straight and easy cruising all the way. But thank you in advance for joining us on this drive. Day 3 was just a chill drive going back to Subaru Manila Bay and into our own homes. But if we're being honest, we didn't get anywhere close to the 1,200 target that we were trying to aim for. Still, there's a lot of takeaways on this trip. One, we now have an even greater appreciation for the north. From the historic sites, the nice clean air, of course there's the windmills and the beautiful view of our coasts. As for the Subaru Forester e-Boxer, it was a much needed addition for the local lineup. Sure, it took about 6 years for it to land here, but perhaps it was for the best, because the previous version of the e-Boxer system just didn't provide much of a fuel advantage compared to what we're seeing in hybrids today. But thanks to advances in technology, the Subaru Forester e-Boxer is a far more palatable package than before. And we're actually glad that Subaru is no longer bothering with that old 2-liter engine. This is pretty much the complete package and the only variant you'll need for the Forester. And not only that, it's the only model in its class with all-wheel drive, so that definitely sets it apart from the rest of them. It's a great drive, it's a great ride as well. And okay, it's not totally perfect. Some people may find the analog cluster a little bit on the dated side, and the infotainment system, well, there are some functions here that we wish were still in button form. Of course, there will still be those who think that it's not a good looking crossover, but trust us on this, it actually looks way better in the metal. For what it has to offer, the Subaru Forester e-Boxer deserves more success, and we sure hope we see more of these on the road. As against its competitors, well, watch this space.